Wagwan. What's up, man? Um, yeah, it's been a minute, and since we uploaded something, but I think I'm back now, and hoping to get onto it and get to converse about what's happening. More so, like in Kenya, and probably globally. For the global part, we'll be talking about things globally affecting Kenya. Put it that way because it's what affects us. Anything else that doesn't affect Kenya does not apply to me because I can only relate to what's happening to like in relation to Kenya. Yeah, I don't know about this government. It's really hard. Of late, I've been thinking, should I like be that kind of citizen who just backs down and supports the president and doesn't question things, but the way things are moving, everything is to be questioned in that country. So yeah, I don't think I fall under that category where I would sit and just follow the leadership at that time blindly. So yeah, I've been sitting trying to analyze what could we even do? Like what's the max that we could be able to do in our own capacity? And I'm starting to realize, I think when we talk of leadership, because that's what interests me. But then I think like I'm actually boring because like I'm more interested into politics and leadership. Well, I'm not interested in much when it comes to online. So yeah, that's where I can be best conversant. But yeah, it's now becoming more evident that with politics and leadership, if people really want to make an impact, I think it's best for people to go and look for people who are like easy to access. See, in that sense, the best person to hold accountable is the person who you can easily access. So in a government setup, who's the most accessible person? I think it's the chief. But the problem is with time, I think the effectiveness of chiefs like of chiefs has really gone down. So I don't think they're as effective as much as they used to be back in the day. So I think right now we could put the member of county assembly as the most accessible person. And the problem is most of us put them on a pedestal. And like even these members of county assembly, we put them on a pedestal in the sense that they're like now even inaccessible. And it's not like their post requires them to be out there that you can't be in a position to meet them because they're too busy. So I think the MCA is the most accessible person, and that is why most people should be applying the pressure. Because when you talk of the looking up to the presidency, I think for the presidency we can just pinpoint a few things where we think things should be done right. But in real sense, I I'm believing that if you have a president who cares about you and is prioritizing the country, you don't even need to worry about how he's handling things because you'll be confident he has your best interest at heart. But now the problem is with the guy we're having right now. Like, do you think he has our best interest at heart? That's the question. Because everything they're doing right now is more of like they are trying to align with IMF and World Bank agenda. There's one thing I am starting to embrace. Nobody is here to. Nobody can save you. Like you're here to save yourself, and you're the only person who can save yourself. And this cuts across everybody. I don't think if me, Moen, I have a problem, somebody else will come and solve my problem. Someone else can come with probably suggestions or ideas or yeah, say suggestions they could give that could have possible solution. But idea, it doesn't make like it doesn't mean that the ideas will work because the situation and the dynamics are a bit different. In this, I'll give like we can just use a few examples. In this, I'm saying there's no way Kenyans have that problem, and the same Kenyans expect that their problems are going to be solved by people who are not Kenyans. Like it's as easy as that. Never. We will never. Like we'll try. We can believe. We can try and insinuate. You can try and hide behind the truth, but facts remain to be facts. The problems for Kenyans can only be solved by Kenyans. Anyone else can just give a hand, but they will not come up with a solution. The only people who will come up with solutions facing Kenyans is Kenyans themselves. Another example. This I might offend a lot of people, but I can give it a good example. Recently, Australia had the referendum where the whole idea was to have a voice for Aboriginal people in Parliament. The idea is good. The idea about having them in Parliament is good, but it's bizarre that they don't have a voice in Parliament in this Parliament. I think they do have a voice, or if they don't, the policies that were put in place before then have not been implemented because I believe there's been policies to ensure that they do have a voice. Relating to Kenya, I used Australia because here's the thing. I am of the belief if it's Australian who have problems, the only people who can get solutions for Australian problems is the Australians themselves. So in this context, we're using Aboriginal. We were trying, like the referendum was saying, they were trying to create and they wanted everybody to vote. Okay, the people who are getting affected were Aboriginal. Like it's not even like now even Australians as a whole. Like the subject in question, in question were Aboriginal. So our main focus, I'd assume for our main focus to be the Aboriginal people. It did not make sense to me that okay, for whatever reason, a foreigner has come and because they required everything to qualify to be Australian, um, them voting, I don't think that validates like placing themselves in the shoes of of Aboriginal people. Like I feel, um, yes, you might be Australian, but I do not think you really understand what Aboriginal is, so that you could be able to um, like have the like present them to have a voice in Parliament. So, in that sense, I'd expect Aboriginals themselves to be given the liberty to decide whether they needed if the voice doesn't exist yet. It would, I'd assume, they'd leave it to the Aboriginal, not anyone who identifies as Australian. Because, look, someone might have come from, say, another country, has been here 5 years, done everything right by the law, and which gives them um, an opportunity to become Australian, and they become Australian. But they become Australian, but they do not become Aboriginal Australian. That's one thing you're not understanding. So at the end of the day, no matter what, you do not understand what an Aboriginal Australian goes through. You get my point? So that way, I felt like the idea was good, the solution was good, but it was coming from the wrong people. Like, let the let the people who are taking, let the victims themselves come up with a solution. So in that same sense, let's I'll talk about what I came across online. Okay, Tata was talking about William Ruto and his acts of treason. Uh, um, okay, some people are saying treason is a heavy word, but calling a spade, I think whatever he's doing is actually treason, because what he's doing, he's leaving generations and like uh, picture it this way. He is not finding solutions right now. He's delegating, like he's outsourcing the solutions. It's like um I saw him say um creating, I don't know how many jobs out there. I think they signed a charter with the country to provide labor from Kenya. Yes, it's a good move. We're exporting mine, but from another lens, that is basically him saying, I have been unable to create jobs for you guys, so I'm sending you guys elsewhere. And you guys can go elsewhere, and then you can come back. The money you make, you can come and we'll share the money. If you get what I mean. Like everything around his presidency has just not been it. As in, there's nothing. I've actually seen a video of him during the hustler thing. He said that the economy is doing great again. Like, is Ruto, is somebody really telling him what's happening? Like,
oh my god, he because he from, oh my god.
okay, I even just lost the plot. But yeah, the act of treason. Consider me. I would consider it treason in this. He's leaving. He's going to leave a government that will be so hell dependent on other countries. And last I checked, during in the beginning of his presidency, he was so against it. Like, and Malema called him out the other day, saying whatever he's doing is like he's moving in the opposite direction. I don't know why everyone else is not noticing, but this guy is moving in the wrong. Like, really, he's moving in the wrong direction. He's like nothing is promising. How and I'm seeing some parastatals and a few some few parastatals are being privatized.
The government has finally unveiled a list of 11 parastatals earmarked for privatization. Some of the notable firms in the list include KICC, New KCC, and Kenya Pipeline. Dennis Otieno has more.
In a dispatch, the following entities are up for sale: New Kenya Cooperative Creameries, Kenya Literature Bureau, National Oil Corporation of Kenya, Kenya Seed Company Limited, Kenyatta International Convention Center KICC, Moya Rice Mills Limited, Western Kenya Rice Mills Limited, Kenya Pipeline Company Limited, Numerical Machining Complex Limited, Vehicle Manufacturers Limited, and Rivertex East Africa Limited. The government has given a number of reasons justifying the sale of each of the entities listed in the plan. KICC, a landmark in the capital Nairobi by all means, Kenya Literature Bureau, Kenya Seed Company, and Kenya Pipeline Company have been slated for sale as part of measures by the state to generate additional revenues and reduce exchequer support. The National Oil Corporation, which was recently split into 3 units to turn around its fortunes, has been identified for its potential to attract private sector capital investments and expertise. New KCC, which is playing its role as an off-taker of raw milk from farmers, and apparel maker Rivertex were in the list to attract fresh capital that will enable them modernize their factories across the country. Interesting to note, some entities were identified as mature and necessitated a sale. They included Moen Rice Mills Limited, Vehicle Manufacturers Limited, and Western Kenya Rice Mills Limited. In keeping with the requirements of the Constitution of Kenya, the National Treasury has invited views from the public on this privatization program by the 11th of December this year. Dennis Otieno, Citizen TV.
And people are even people are wondering about what will happen to the Kenya Seed Company. This was long coming. It is okay. You consider it conspiracy or whatnot, but this at the end of the day, this is affecting us. You're not telling me. Most of these developed countries, I think 16 of the most developed countries in terms of agriculture, all of them have banned GMOs, and now we're the ones who are rushing to give it to our people. Like, I don't think GMOs are there to help. I really don't think that. Like, there's nothing. There's nothing coming. Like, there's nothing good coming out of this guy. And as we talked about them in the pod before, all of the ideas these people are bringing into the country, like, they're nothing shows they care about us, and there's nothing even to be proud of. Nothing, literally nothing. And I'm even listening to people who even um talk in defense of the president. Like, yes, you can take in investors, but from even my interactions with people, investors come in just for the money. It's nothing else. No policies, nothing to change how you live your lifestyle. It's just I give you money, you give me my money back with interest, and that's it. Most of these other investors are coming to change the whole way of living. Like, now we'll be forced to we won't be doing organic food anymore. We'll now move to genetically modified. And actually, I don't know. This government, it's just there's some time back, Magufuli was talking about how we should be so done with this aid. Like, we should be so self sufficient to a point, like, we are not depending on this guy. And one thing I know about, like, it's becoming me it's becoming evident. It's William Ruto has no clue about running the government. He has no clue about money, like big money. For in big money, I mean people who can make deals. These are not deals. This is just selling out an entire country. Like, I even sit and wonder that he doesn't sit and hold back and say, "Man, I think I'm doing the most. I should just spare some because I have taken enough." All his friends are just looting, like, from the start to the like from the start to the finish. So, you know, at least it could be the president is working on one end, and then there's one thing, the other thing holding him back, like, say, corruption. But now this one, he's involved himself in everything. Now the corruption, he's inside the corruption. All his friends are inside the corruption. The bad deals, he's inside the bad deal. Like, what is he up to? Does he mean any good? That's my question. Like, and are people not ready to question? Because there's nothing for a president to come and say that things are doing good, and in real sense, nobody feels like things are going good. And then he's just aligning with the IMF agenda. There's no way IMF cares about Kenya. And and tell you what, we're the least of IMF's problems. In fact, actually, like what Okiom Tata said is definitely the truth. What IMF and World Bank wants, it wants people to depend on them. That's all they need. How does someone how does someone give you money with conditions on your way of living? Like how does my financial uh life affect like how does our financial relationship affect my personal life in the like in sense of culture and how I run things normally. I don't get it. Like that's my biggest even problem with the West. Like this money that comes, it comes with conditions, and they get to dictate. Even there was it in Mozambique? They were saying what the IMF does. IMF will put their staff members in every department, like in every government department. Now you won't have like you see we will only be having proxies. Like you'll be having what do you call them? You'll be having managers of this government parastatals who are just there for it's just like an image, like it's just someone who's there just for the image. He's not running anything. He's just there to serve the image of that particular seat. And then we have IMF officials running the show in the background. Like how we are a sovereign nation anymore? Like the sovereignty is gone. Like whatever our grandfathers were fighting for was shit. It's just going down the drain, down the fucking drain. And it's really bizarre because you know what scares me now is imagining that even people my age right now will turn into leaders who will be fucking up our country in the next few years. Like we're bringing up a culture that is really, really wrong. I wonder, like, does patriotism still exist, or it's just patriotism is just a word in the dictionary? Because it's starting to look like it's just a word in the dictionary. And Connie, what is Ruto thinking? Like everybody is observing. What he's doing is just selling out. Like these are not the days where you could hide the things. Like everybody, like it's so obvious. The NBA. Why? Like after and then after getting a standing ovation in the EU, and I see some Africans being proud of that nonsense. Yeah, if you are proud of Ruto being uploaded in the EU, I think you're just suffering from Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, because ain't no way. There's no way your oppressor is who you're going to glorify. Ain't no way. There's just some other level of Stockholm syndrome that has never been seen. The NBA coming to Kenya. Right now, the way I see anything that's American, I just take them with malice, most of them, because that's what they're doing, basically. The NBA comes to Kenya only after Ruto goes for all this nonsense, trying to please the West, trying to kiss us. That's all he's been doing. We only got the NBA thing because he's been kissing us. That's why okay. So put it this way: we deserve NBA in Kenya because our president kissed us.
The National Basketball Association is expanding its reach on the African continent. To mark the launch of its new offices in Kenya this week, NBA Africa held a junior clinic for 70 boys and girls aged 16 and under in Nairobi. Five-time NBA champion Ron Harper was the chief guest. The NBA hopes that its presence in Kenya will spark more talent development in the country and around East Africa.
What it's going to do is going to give us the opportunity to get more young people a chance to play the game. It'll give us an opportunity to help improve on the already really solid school structure that Kenya has. And then what we hope to happen from that, or we know what will happen because Kenya has unlimited talent, is that we'll be able to get Kenya now, help the Federation get Kenya back to the top in under 16, under 18, club. and all the other levels. So that's how we expect to grow the game, and that's what we believe we can help contribute to the game.
We got a lot of moving parts, but we on the right path. Got a lot of young kids who probably really haven't been in this kind of environment. Going to give an opportunity to chase whatever dreams they have on the court and off the court.
Basketball has seen a steady growth in the continent since NBA Africa was launched in South Africa in 2010. In 2021, the inaugural Basketball Africa League tipped off to professionalize the sport. BAL President Amadou Fall hopes that Kenya will be a key part of the league in the near future.
We want to see the local league really become very strong and competitive, where you have different teams competing for the chance to win the championship and qualify for the Basketball Africa League. We'd love to bring our events here. Obviously, we're hoping that we will see a world-class arena being built here in Kenya soon, so we can bring our world-class league here.
Nairobi joins Cairo, Dakar, Johannesburg and Lagos as the 5th African city to open an NBA office. Muturi Kaibere, CGTN.
Yeah, put it that way. We're getting the money that we're getting from IMF and World Bank because our president can kiss her. So it means in the future, like, it's always been how it's always been then, is for you to get money from the IMF or the World Bank, you need to kiss her. And I think now it is that's the case. We're getting NBA has finally landed in Kenya only because our president can kiss her. And there's nothing. Ruto is clueless. That I can tell you for a fact. He's just cunning. He is cunning. When we talk about big money, I see big money like people like Trump, yeah. People who deal with money, like people who know business. Ruto, I don't know how. I just remembered how I was after the election period. I was so bitter about Uhuru that I was so okay with Ruto winning, and I was like, probably the man them has a clean heart and he's after something. And I was even of the belief the struggles he might have gone through when he was younger would have made him like a better leader. But I've been observing history. I don't know. I think we were just deceived. Either Ruto has been groomed for leadership or he's too cunning. And the grooming part is because of how he's aligning with the West. You can lose yourself over your oppressor. How? That's one thing I'm not understanding. How do you lose yourself over your oppressor? That doesn't happen. You can't kill the hopes. You can't kill the generations of your people just like that. You must be on something else. And I don't know how smart he is, or how good he is. During there was an interview he did. He was asked about the Western Hotel, and he sounded so innocent, saying, "If only people knew what happened during that time, they would treat him different." And bro, for a minute, I felt pity on him, but now it's becoming evident it's like he was too involved with that shit. Too involved. Too involved. His right hand man, Faruk Kibet and ule jamaa mwingine his name Mchumba Murkomen. I read through back then how they involved in the NS scandal. It's just red flags about this man, and weirdly, some people still choose to support him with every blood and sweat. I don't even know, man. I don't know. what do we want as a country? Like, what do we need as a country? Because it's annoying for me to see we have all the potential, like we have all we need to make that country a great country, and we're just leaving it to the dogs. And these motherfuckers are just ruining that country. Like, not interesting. Cherargei juzi alikuwa anasema Murkomen alipewa hongo ya $100 million fucking dollars in cash, I think. Huh? Mnasikia zile pesa zinaongeleangu aso Jacob Juma talking about a deal of about 8.5 trillion Kenya shillings. Like, there's just money out there. I don't know why we're in the state we're in. You sit and wonder, unajiuliza nini inaweza kuwa shida. Shida inaweza kuwa nini? Juu kama hiyo country kuna do. Hiyo sema tu ni mashida tu watu wanajiekelea. Hakuna kitu kingine. Juu na watu tena hakuna mtu ana complain. Kwa hivyo kila kitu iko sawa. Hata labda ni mimi najiekelea, labda ni hapo mimi na assume vitu haziko sawa na vitu tu zinaendelea vizuri. Hata prezzo mwenyewe ametoka kusema economy inaendelea vizuri, like iko in a good position. Alafu kwani hawa leaders hizi wakiandika hapo tu ama wakisema wana feel opinion, kwani ni uongo design? Kwani watu wanadanganyanga aje? Like unadanganya outright. Wasi wanakapitia. Unajua kuna vitu naona unaweza joke nazo, but vitu zingine huwezi. Like watu wanakapitia ukweli, si ati wanadanganya. Life ni hard. Life ni mbaya. Na uko na audacity ya kusimama kusema mumeimprove. Aje. Vitu zimeimprove kivipi na kila mtu analia shida. Aje, vitu zimeimprove saa ngapi? Tuonyeshe ni gani hizo zimeimprove. Ama serious, ama ni mimi naongelea vitu zangu. Labda life iko sawa. Labda kila kitu iko sawa, kila kitu ina move smoothly. Ni mimi hapa niko na kierere na mambo iko sawa. Lakini mimi na feel mambo yuko sawa. Na hata si story na feelings zangu, like vitu ziko sawa. Hakuna venye prison inaweza shindanga nje ya nchi hivyo. Hata kani kutafuta unatafuta aje? Si ukae kwako deal na mashida zako. Samia Suluhu nilisikia juzi akiambia Ruto akisema as much as yes wanataka kuchukua kupata aid, wajaribu kuwork na Kenya wako nayo kwanza. Ruto hiyo haizi sikia na bado kuna nongo inamsupport. Hii nchi kwani hii basi babu zetu walikuwa wanapigania nini ujinga. Hiyo nchi mimi sijui vile atafanya. Na one thing na observe, I think Umse ni smart because aliweka kwa hiyo kwa hizo ministry zote aliweka Manongwe ndio sasa hao watu wa IMF wakuja wa take over wakuange na watu wa kuzungusha wakuambianga vile watakuwa wakifanya. Lakini mpaka lini? As in hakuna mtu ana feel like tuko helpless kwa country yetu, like tuko helpless home. Like place yenye unafaa feel like ile confident, yani ile place unafaa kuwa comfortable, as in ile place unafaa kuwa proud of. So mimi na feel ni kama ile like it's not home anymore, ni kama ni place fulani like utaishi vile mse fulani anataka, na haifai kuwa hivyo. Ideally haifai kuwa hivyo, but sasa cause nika watu washai embrace, itabaki umeingia kwa hiyo cloud na ume embrace kwa kila mtu mwingine, na haifai. Cause ile country ina potential, no lie. No lie. Ile country ina from A to Z. Shida ni atupati mtu mwenye anajua kuivuna. Haya, Raila ndio huyo nimeishi kuambia. Raila kuna mtu aliniambia juzi, Raila ako na good table manner. He knows when to speak. Raila wakati ya kwa meza na anakula haongeangi. Wakati ya njaa ndio atafungua mdomo. Na hiyo ndio kitu kingine tena watu waelewi. Alafu hapo kuna kitu again nilikuwa nadai ku condemn. Kuna umeona watu wenye wanakuambia ati hii ndio serikali ilichagua, deal nayo. Unaenda unapata hata leaders wa opposition wanakuambia kitu kama hiyo. Ati hiyo ndio serikali mlichagua, deal na. Na wewe uko ndani ya serikali kwa maneno zako, si wewe ufanye kazi. So niambia aje ati hiyo ndio serikali, ati huyo ndio mtu mlichagua na wewe uko ndani ya serikali. Wewe si ufanye beat yako kwa maneno zako. Hii nchi misi mali tutaipata hata sijui ni wapi. Juu sasa mali inaelekea tuelekee pale pazuri, na hii nchi ni yetu sisi wote, lakini tumeifanya ikae nikawa watu wachache ndio kusema, na hata wenye nikisema ni wenda wazimu wote wanapeleka hiyo nchi sijui wapi. Sasa Kenya ni wale ati tunaweza anza kuongelea stories za magari electric. Road zenyewe zime beat ka fucking. Alafu mnaanza kuongelea story ya gari electric. Gede hata haijashuka, country zingine zote gede imeenda down. Kenya gede ni expensive as fuck. Alafu ndio naona ati Raila anataka sijui ofisi ya prime minister na kumanina zako, what the fuck. Alafu sasa utaona tumbo watu wa Raila tukikuja hapo kusema ati sasa ofisi zingine ziongezewe. Ofisi zingine zikiongezewa ni ujue ni pesa watu wengine wanaendelea kulipwa, na unajua hapo wale ile raia yote inaingizwa hapo mshahara yao ni kitu ya maana, ujue kwa hivyo ni pesa inaendelea kupoteza. Ujue manongo. Yaani nchi mimi sijui. Sasa wengine wanajaribu kufikiria hii nchi. Hii ni Mungu tu atatuokoa. Sasa ametupatia kila kitu, ni sisi tumekataa kufikiria. Housing levy.
Me on sign language interpretation tonight is Flora Atieno. The decision by a 3-judge bench at the High Court to issue stay orders on their ruling that declared the Housing Levy Fund unconstitutional has been met by stern criticism from the Law Society of Kenya. The ruling now means that government has been accorded more time until the 10th of January 2024 to regularize the legal framework around the housing levy. And as NTV's Sidi Chazima reports, the Law Society of Kenya has termed the High Court's ruling a classic case of giving with one hand and taking with the other.
and the taxes levied against persons in formal employment to the exclusion of all other than formal earners to support a national policy without a clear justification is discriminatory, irrational, and arbitrary in violation of 27(201)(b)(1) of the Constitution and therefore unconstitutional for those reasons.
This was Justice David Majanja's ruling on the constitutionality of the Housing Levy Fund. In his finding, Majanja argued that the move by the government to only deduct the housing levy from those in formal employment was discriminatory and hence had gone against the Constitution's dictates of equal and fair taxation. The respondents in the case against the housing levy then immediately sought stay orders to defer the implementation of this ruling, basing their arguments on the timing, legal implications, and the contracts that had been entered to by the government and contractors.
Allow me to apply for a stay or a conservatory order for 45 days. In those 45 days, I urge you to suspend the operation of those particular findings in the judgment and any decree that may flow therefrom.
This judgment places a Kenya Revenue Authority at a position where it will be subject to suits for illegally collected funds, and two, will need a stay order to prevent refund claims which shall be made.
A declaration of unconstitutionality cannot benefit from a stay order.
The application that has been made before you is highly speculative.
The judges, after a brief recess, would again return to the court chambers at 3 o'clock, bearing good news for the government and KRA.
An order of stay be and is hereby issued, staying the effect of this judgment issued today, 28th November 2023, pending the filing of a formal application for conservatory stay and conservatory orders in the Court of Appeal, and these orders of stay shall remain in force until 10th of January 2024.
In line with this stay order, government now plots to use the 10th of January window to align the housing levy in law, as pointed out by the court.
We will sit down, evaluate the judgment, and consider whether there is any other interim matter we can do in the House so as to ensure that the housing levy is not interfered with. You all know that it is in force, money is collected, and in fact, as we have argued here, there are contracts out there which are being fulfilled using that money.
The Law Society of Kenya, through their president, Eric Theuri, are now accusing the courts of aiding the government to get away with illegalities.
It almost feels as if the court is working in cahoot with the state. In a sense, the court has given with one hand and taken with the other. This is a radical departure from what other courts have done.
Bless you all.
Other than the ruling on the housing levy, other matters of the Finance Act of 2023 were also adjudicated. The three-judge bench affirmed that the act underwent sufficient public participation, throwing out the petitioner's argument that public participation was only conducted for face value. The three-judge bench also threw its weight behind Parliament, which had been accused of including 18 additional tax clauses to the Finance Act, which were not subjected to public participation, arguing that Parliament had the right to make such amendments. It is now back to the drawing board for the government as far as its much popularized flagship project is concerned. The respondents will now seek an appeal over the unconstitutionality of the Housing Levy Fund at the Court of Appeal. Sydney Chazima, NTV at Milimani Law Courts in Nairobi.
Unaona koti walisema ni unconstitutional. Hakuna kitu yote hii nayo you can take it. Hakuna, unaona kuanzia 2013 hata tangu hiyo constitution mpya ilikuwa promulgated. Most kuanzia 2013. Jua hiyo constitution haijaifuatwa. Jua hata watu hufuata sheria ni raia wa kawaida. Ama ni nje nyingine hao wote mambo hakuna mtu yote. So sijui nani anakuja kutuokoa juu yaani wale watu wenye wanafaa kuset sheria, si unaona ndio hao. Kuna kitu kingine wanafikirianga ni kwa doo pekee. Ni nchi gani? Hii nchi ukianza kuifikiria manzi, unaweza lipuka kitu, unaweza achilia, na hapo ndo mali. Alafu unajua what is sad, unajaribu kuignore, unajiuliza mpaka lini?